the Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is a paid video for Greg. Greg is living in the Philippines and he's getting ready to buy a really expensive watch. He sent me this email. He writes, "Hello, I've been a fan of your videos and Japan is truly a great place to buy pre-owned items. I was hoping you could help me source a watch and see how low prices can go. Hopefully some prices dropped because of COVID-19. I know it sounds opportunistic, but might as well make the most of it. I had found a discontinued and recently serviced modern Patek in rose gold that I am considering. It is priced around 28,000 USD, but the service costs and time are making me think twice. It takes about 6 months and around 1,700 euros for the complication I'm interested in. This will be my first Patek should I decide to purchase." All right, so this video is not about this Patek. It's about another watch, but Greg, this is a $28,000 Patek, so a 1,700 euro service cost is really, relatively speaking, not that high. And as far as the service interval, forget about it. In a couple years, you'll forget about that. You'll forget about the price you paid for the service. That kind of stuff fades. What doesn't is getting the piece you want. So imagine this Patek, imagine the watch we're going to talk about today, side by side. Which would you rather have? That's what you need to ask yourself. That's the watch you should buy. So you don't want to go down the path of convenience because that's likely going to be a purchase you regret down the road. So the easier said than done question of which do you like more, right? All right, so now that I've said that, let's talk about the alternative he's thinking about. Alternatively, I am also interested in the GMT Master 2 in yellow gold with an anniversary green dial. I know you're not a fan of gold Rolex, but I find it to be the variants that are selling below suggested retail price. I just can't justify paying more than suggested retail price for a used timepiece for steel models. Could you please help me get current prices for this? I have found a piece on Chrono24 for around 26,800 USD. But it has already been reserved. And he sent me a screen capture of this watch, and you can see the price in Filipino money right there. And again, that equates to 26,800 USD. This is a box and papers piece that looks to be sold out of Huntington. I think that's California in the United States, and true enough, it is reserved. That's a really good price, by the way. How much lower does it get in Japan? Box and papers are not important, but how can I make sure it's not a stolen piece? All right, so the only way I think you can really know if a watch is stolen, a Rolex is stolen, is to take it to RSC to have some work done on it, have a service quote given. They'll run the number, and as long as they don't say anything, I think it's good. Now, the shops here are not going to willingly and knowingly sell you a stolen watch, but they don't have access to this registry. And so it's something I always like to do pretty quickly after buying a watch. Now, if you take your watch back to the Philippines and take it to an RSC there, they might take your watch. I don't know if they'd give you a letter stating it was a stolen watch that you could use to get your money back. It could be a mess. So what you might want to do if you come to Japan and buy a watch, you might want to have it sized at an RSC. Okay, take it to RSC. You'll get a nice pouch. It'll be about $100. But more importantly, they'll size it and you'll walk out of there knowing that it passed their test and it didn't come up as a stolen watch. All right. And if it does, then you will have just bought the watch, and I think recourse would be pretty easy. Now, what's the likelihood of getting a stolen watch? My guess is pretty low, but it's one of the reasons why I think a box and papers piece is a little bit more safe, because I think most of the stolen watches floating around the world are watch only. They were just, ripped off somebody's wrist or something like that. So, it's always a concern on the pre-owned market. But again, it's just one of those reasons why you might want to go for a piece with box and papers. All the pieces we're looking at today have box and papers, all right? So we are looking at the solid yellow gold, green dialed anniversary GMT. And this was the 50th anniversary celebration of the GMT, which came out in 1954. This piece came out in 2005. So, well, I guess if Rolex says it's the 50th anniversary, damn it, it is. You know, we're not splitting hairs on years. But anyway, it came out in 2005 and came out with that green dial. And they always use green for their anniversary pieces. And it has the distinction for being the very, very first ceramic GMT. And it was released with that green dial, and then eventually they started making it with a black dial. The following year, 2006, it came out in two-tone, and then in 2007, it came out in steel, the all black. And it took, well, until 2012 to, I guess, get that bicolored bezel in ceramic right, and that's when the BLNR came out. But it's a solid yellow gold piece, and right now, currently, they don't have a solid yellow gold piece in the catalog. So could it become a collector's item? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's certainly a first, that is for sure. Looking at this price from this listing on Chrono24, if you put that in yen, it comes out to 2,880,000 yen. We'll just round it up to 2,900,000 yen. In fact, we'll make it really easy. We'll just make it an even 3 million yen, all right? Can we find this watch in Japan for less than 3 million yen, all right? And that's what we're gonna look at today. And, well, I looked at Rakuten, and spoiler alert, I couldn't do it. I couldn't find it. Now, if you actually came to Japan, then you might have better luck, because I think a lot of the pieces that wind up on Rakuten are ones that didn't quite sell immediately. You know, they sit in the shop, and if they're not snapped up, eventually they put them on Rakuten. So if you actually go to the shops, you might find better deals, I think, okay? But let's look at the contestants today. We have 5 watches we're gonna look at, and if you're interested in these watches, links in the description. You can see the pictures for yourself, and you can see these pictures, and I suppose you can even come to Japan and buy these pieces, all right? So our first piece, and this is the cheapest, and we go more expensive, all right? And again, we're targeting 3 million yen or less. Well, here we have our first piece, and you can see the price on there. It is 3,410,000 yen. Now, I call this guy that was selling it, this is a shop in Tokyo, and this is a papers piece. It's got an aftermarket box, and is polished. The translation for the polishing says, "We are finishing the exterior, although there are small scratches that are not noticeable. On the whole, the condition is very good." All right, and I call the guy, and sure enough, if you are a tourist, you get 10% off because you don't have to pay the sales tax. So this price is tax included. So if you do the math really quickly, I think you can, it's still gonna be over 3 million yen, okay? And this is the cheapest one I could find, all right? Okay, so you can see that this is a V serial. It's a 2008 piece. V serials were made in 2008 and 2009. Okay, so this is an early V. And look, I know this doesn't mean a lot to you if you don't read Japanese, but you can pick out the numbers, and you can see the 40 millimeter dust case, and you can also see 19 centimeter. That would be talking about the bracelet length. And keep an eye on that, because you're definitely going to want a full bracelet, because look at the cost of these links. That's like $400. All right, over $400. So I think 19 centimeters would be a full-size bracelet. So that is a factor here. We don't want links being pinched, do we? Okay, so this is contestant number 1. All right, number 2 is a little bit more expensive, 3 million. Okay, we'll just round it to 3,500,000 yen. Now, this is a Z serial from 2006. And it is, what is it? It's, let me look at my notes here. It is box papers. It's been polished. In fact, all of these pieces have been polished, all right? I'll just read the translation. It says, We have finished the exterior, but there are fine scratches that could not be removed by polishing. Also, because they are sold at the same time at the store and exhibited some minor scratches and stains that are not on the image. So, yeah, polished, but still not a perfect piece. But it looks pretty perfect. It looks beautiful. Now, this is actually being sold out of Aichi, which is, well, it's kind of the middle of Japan, so getting this piece would be a bit of a pain. And by the way, you have to actually go and get these pieces yourself. You can't order these pieces to get your tax off. So again, all of these prices have tax included. If you want to know the price you would pay when you come, take 10% off, okay? Because the sales tax is included. And if you're a tourist, you don't have to pay. All right, so that's the second cheapest piece. All right, piece number 3, all right? Pretty much the same as the second piece, box, papers. And, oh, one thing to note, 17 centimeters on that bracelet. The first one, the second one, 19 centimeters. That seemed to be full bracelet. This is missing a link. And it's been polished as well. But the translation raises some questions, not just because it seems to be missing a link or two. The exterior has been polished by our company or our designated repair contractor. There are slight scratches and threads. There is a slight discoloration on the rug and flash fit. No clue what that is. That's just what the translation from Google came up as. But it's on the back of the watch, okay? And you can see on that image right there, the upper right-hand corner, it does seem to be some brown stain, all right? So I certainly wouldn't be going for this piece because, while it does have box and papers, it's missing a link and it's got that stain, which is just kind of weird, okay? All right, next, another full-size bracelet, 19 centimeters here. Price on this, $3,700,000. So it jumped basically about 2,000 USD. Now this is a box and papers piece. It's polished, but it's a random serial number. And it says the guarantee states that it was sold in Korea in January 2017. So it's a pretty recent piece, probably one of the last of these pieces. And it says there's a scratch on the triangle in the bezel. So look, again, it's been polished. All of these pieces have. I think finding a non-polished gold piece would be really hard in Japan because, you know, gold scuffs easy and, you know, they want to definitely make these look as nice as possible. So I think you're going to always find polished gold pieces here in Japan and polished steel pieces as well. And yeah, so this is another contender. And our last one, a cool one. And look, if you were leaning towards that last one, I might consider this one because this is 40,000 yen more, which is about 400 USD. But this is cool because look at the dial. This is a stick dial. And I didn't even know that they came in stick dials, these anniversary GMTs. And look, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is the non-stick dial. And look at the GMT Master 2, where it says 2. Those are Roman numerals. Now, this would be the stick dial, all right? And it's not a Roman numeral, it's just 2 sticks. And those can, you know, fetch a lot when it comes to the steel pieces, a couple thousand more. You know, I don't know if it's justified, and I don't really know. I really don't understand these stick dials, what they are, or these service dials. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, but they tend to fetch a little bit more. And here's one, and that is pretty cool. Now, this is a D serial, and D came out in, let's see, a D would be 2005 or 2006. This is a 2005. What do we know about this? This is a box, papers. Again, it's been polished. All of them have been polished. And it says, we are refinished the exterior. Okay, again, kind of weird translation, but you get it. Although there are small scratches that are not noticeable on the whole, very good condition. So there you go. I mean, these are the 5 cheapest that I could find on Rakuten. They go up from there. I mean, there's one that's like, you know, nearly, you know, 4 million yen. So not the place to get a bargain on the 116718 LN, but That's pretty cool, a stick dial. I gotta say, I don't really know what to make of stick dials. I wish Rolex would release some information on like what exactly is a stick dial. I mean, is it a mistake? Is it an error? Does it mean something? It's not a service dial, is it? I don't know what a stick dial is, but this is kind of interesting. And we've come full circle because this stick dial, GMT, is at the very same shop as the cheap one that we first looked at. And by cheap, I mean the cheapest in Japan, because it is much more expensive than that one on Chrono 24 coming from the States. But that's Japan for you. You're not going to get cheap prices here. You're going to get a lot of selection, and you're going to get beautiful examples. And maybe you might get a stick dial too. All of them have papers. Most of them have boxes except for one. But there you go, Greg. Hope that helps. By the way, when you come to Japan, I have a feeling that you could get some money off one of these, all right? Because not a lot of people have, you know, nearly 30 grand to spend on one of these watches. So my guess is, even though this is not a bargaining culture, you could probably make an offer, and combined with not having to pay tax, it might, you know, might work out. Let me know what you think. What would you do? For me, geez, what would I do? Well, I wouldn't go this route anyway, but I don't know. I'm so scared of buying from the States. So I might just chalk it up to paying a little bit more for one of these. Anyway, let me know what you would do. Thanks, Greg, for the question. And if you want to make a video happen for yourself, information could be found in the description. Scroll down, all right, past all these links. Take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.